Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss with you a play by Ben Jonson that is named Volpone. Actually, this is very important play for the reason that in exams the questions which are asked repeatedly is which play is a beast fable. So the question is asked about it being a beast fable. So what do we understand by beast fable? This also becomes very important. We need to understand that beast means animals. Fable means story. So a story which is based on animals. So now you can think there must be animal characters. No, it's not like that. These are human characters, but they have been attributed to animal characteristics. So they have specific names, qualities of a particular animal, and that's why this is called beast fable. So Old Bone, for this reason, is considered to be a beast fable that it has animal characteristics which are attributed to particular characters. If we talk about Volpone is attributed to fox. Then we have Voltor, the vulture. He is an advocate. Corbasio, the raven. Corvino, the crow. So we can see here a fox is an animal which is attributed to Volpone, the protagonist. Then we have Voltor, the vulture. Then we have the raven who represents Corbasio. Corvino the crow, Mosca the fly. Mosca is the servant of Volpone. So these characters they are also asked in exam which character represents which animal. Suppose it is Voltor, an advocate represents the vulture. So the quality of a vulture is attributed to Voltor. The raven, the crow, fly. Which character is represented by fly is Mosca. Which character is represented by crow is Corvino, and which one is by raven is Corbasio. So this is how we need to remember this. This was first performed in 1605 and 6, but it was published in a book form in 1607. The setting is Venice, Italy. So this story is talking about a person who is a Venetian gentleman actually, but who is very greedy. So this actually has two themes at least, greed and lust. Volpone is representing greed for the money and lust for someone else's wife. We have Corbasio, his wife Celia is a beautiful lady, and we have a story here that Wolfen falls not in love, rather he is attracted towards Celia and wants to seduce her and fails, and finally is charged of attempting rape to her. So here we have the story. We need to understand that Volpone actually is a Venetian gentleman who pretends to be on his deathbed after a long illness. Why he is pretending to be on deathbed? Because as per his will, there is no one to inherit. Since he is not married, no heir. So there are three people who think that they can have the property of Volpone, and these three people are Voltor, Corbasio, and Corvino. So Volpone, what he does is that he plans with Mosca that do he will kind of pretend that he is going to die, and the people would come to him with gifts and offering him some money so that he can write his will in the name of that particular person. And this is what he actually does. So these three people, Voltor, Corbasio, and Corvino, come to Volpone for this and offer their help to him so that they can get the property of Volpone. So Volpone is planning all these things with Mosca. And what is the planning? To pretend that he's going to die soon. So this is, you can say, a comedy for this reason that every time you find that, these characters are trying to pretend something and trying actually to get money, whereas the things go against them. That's how it is. Let's go for the next slide. and that talks about here. Volpone Mosca mentions that Corvino has a beautiful wife Celia. As I mentioned here, that what Volpone does to Celia, he tries to seduce her, but he fails, and then tries to rape her. But Bonario, the character, comes forward to rescue her. Since there is a case, but in the case, Oltor, who is representing Vulture actually, a lawyer, he rescues him. So here what we find is this. At the last what happens? That Olpon wills his wealth to Moscow. It was again a plan, but when Moscow gets money, he says he is not going to return to Olpon that same money that he has got. Though it was a plan, Moscow was involved into that. It was Olpon who said to him that he is going to write a will in his name, but the money will belong to Olpon only. But what happens? Moscow denies to return, and now he becomes a rich person. So Volpone is left with no option. He is caught in his own trap. His own servant Mosca has deceived him. So finally he comes with the truth and discloses everything to everybody, that how he pretended to be on the deathbed rather, whereas he was not actually. So in the event, all these people are finally punished for their greed and for their lust. So I hope you understand this very, very well performed play. Actually, it was very famous a play in the beginning of 17th century, 1605, 6 and 1607. It was published by Ben Jonson. It's a comedy. It's called city comedy. It's also called beast fable for it having the characters which represent animals. As I talked about, Old Bone representing fox, Mosca representing fly, Volto representing vulture, and we have other characters who represents other animals, like we have Corbasio representing raven, Corvino representing crow. So what we have understood from this play is this, that greed and lust are the voices that we should abstain from. Otherwise, we can meet the same fate as all these people: Old Phone, Mosca, Old Tor, Corbasio, and Corvino made. I hope you understand this play. This is very important play when it comes to your exam. Keep in mind the characters and the animals they represent, publication date, and at the same time themes it revolves around. Thank you very much for listening to me. Take care.